Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today we're going to cover the Tattoo Chef earnings that have just come out. I've read through the press releases, gone through the earnings call, listened to it, and I'll share the information with you guys and my thoughts on it. It was a very weird earnings call. I'll kind of do an overall opinion towards the end, but it was slightly weird. If I am a shareholder, in case you might be new to these videos, so yeah, just thought I'd let you know that. As well as that, if you could smash the like button as well, and if you are new, subscribe. But it was a very weird earnings call. I'll kind of wrap it up towards the end, but yeah, I'm still trying to make heads or tails with what kind of went on really. So yeah, we'll go through what was in the actual earnings call. But yeah, first of all, let's just talk about the numbers. So the revenue side of it was pretty good. Well, basically, to be honest with you, this is the strange thing. I think one of the tricky things that we've had with Tattoo Chef is that back in, I believe it was December, we had the analyst day, and the analyst day for me was absolutely amazing. I think that the analyst day was probably a 10 out of 10. I was really impressed with the information that we got on that event. Now, I think the problem is that so much information, and this is why probably I haven't done Tattoo Chef Thursdays anymore on the channel, because I used to do Tattoo Chef Thursdays all the time, is that so much information was brought out and so detailed on the analyst day that I feel like over the last few months we haven't had that much to talk about. And even in this earnings report and conference call, there wasn't that much talked about because it was so well covered on analyst day. And I feel like we could have had a little bit more of an update with the earnings call. I feel like I'll get onto it a little bit, but I feel like there could have been more information put in there. But I think it was a little bit of, it struggled a little bit because of how good the analyst day was a few months ago. And yeah, I think it was hard to keep that impression up from what it gave in the analyst day. So I'm going to say that. But just starting off with the numbers front, basically, I am actually not a fan of companies doing this. What Tattoo Chef did is they brought preliminary earnings out a few weeks ago now, and basically what they do is they kind of bring these earnings out early, and it's always normally, it's either a warning of, hey, our numbers are going to be really bad, or hey, our numbers are going to be really good. And I think Tattoo Chef tried to give the impression off that they were going to be really good numbers, and basically the numbers that we got in preliminary earnings, which were like 3 weeks ago or maybe even 4 weeks ago, their numbers were pretty much the same in the earnings call. So I'm not really going to touch on any of the numbers really, because we basically knew it. So there wasn't much shock there. I think that's always a problem because everyone knows what happens, and I think that's why the stock immediately downtrended after hours. It always does it when companies do preliminary earnings, and that's why I don't like them doing it. But yeah, I mean, kind of on the stock at the moment, you know, it was taken quite negative, and then it kind of rebound. But yeah, that was kind of the number side of it. Revenue, there was strong revenue growth, don't get me wrong, the revenue numbers were pretty impressive, especially on like the branded label side of it. We got a bit more numbers on that side of it, but the revenue was kind of in line where we expected it to be. Then the income was a bit all over the place because there was like loads of tax benefits and stuff like that, but everything on that point of view was fine, so I'm not going to dig too much in the financial. It's kind of like, okay, we're investing this for the next 2 to 5 years. What information was out there that impressed me that's really going to affect it in the, you know, you don't invest for a quarter, you don't invest for a conference call, you're investing into a company for the long term. So I'm looking at this point of view of like, what things were in this earnings call that were impressing me as a long-term investor that will take effect in the coming few coming few months, years, you know. Now, funny enough, probably the best news of the earnings actually came before the actual report that came out and the conference call. Earlier on in the day, we actually got news, and it was talked about actually in the earnings call, is that Tattoo Chef have extended their range in Target, which is brilliant because we saw that Walmart was a very successful business model only a few months ago in Analyst Day, and it was like, okay, the Target sales seem to be going really well. So if the Target sales are going really well, they should add more SKUs and more products into their stores. And that came out early today, and it actually sent the stock up quite a bit during the day, but it reversed all after earnings. And I think that was maybe something that they could have just held back to the actual conference call, but that was probably the best news. It was another confirmation of, look, Walmart really like the product and they're putting more shelf space to Tattoo Chef. Target, very similar, more shelf space to Tattoo Chef, now having 6 products there. So I think that was probably the highlight, probably this earnings call or earnings, and that was pretty impressive. So another good thing on the conference call is that it was announced, I think it was Sam Glatter that said it, that said the Q1 2021, there's going to be a 41% increase in the amount of stores that Tattoo Chef are going to be in. I think it was Stop and Shop and a couple other it said it all in the conference call, so if you want to go listen back, you'll get all the details there. But there's a few new partners that they did announce. I think they in particular have like 400 stores. So they did say what was positive is that there was a 41% increase in the amount of stores they're going to have and sell the products, which is really good. That's what we wanted to hear from them. I feel like one mistake they did, they didn't really, in my opinion, Sam Galletti didn't really build on this. I feel like he didn't give enough information out on this and go into more detail. In my opinion, that is something that you should be proud of and that you should have bragged and be like, oh, so this is how it's going to scale up. These are the partners, we signed this deal in so-and-so, this is how it's all going to work. And even one of the things that I wasn't really happy about, and this is nothing to do with Tattoo Chef, is like the question and answer session was probably the worst question and answer session that I've ever heard on an earnings call. It was so poor, the quality of questions. Like, no one actually digged into any of the information that Sam Galletti and everyone else was saying on the conference call. And if I was an analyst on that conference call, I would have been digging into them partnerships and want to know the in and outs of what's going on and any updated partnerships. And like I say, that's not really, I guess that you could say it was Tattoo Chef's fault, because they should have given that information out a lot better. I think they should have been really proud and showed off, like, this is how we break it all down, a bit like how they did on Analyst Day with like Walmart deals and the Target deals, but there wasn't that much, and I felt like that could have been played on a bit more by the analysts, and also I think Tattoo Chef could have done it. But nevertheless, positives long term, more increase of the stores, more partnerships, and it's good to see more and more people taking on these products, and hopefully we'll even see some bigger retails that come in and also take these products on. Now, this kind of goes to another kind of a bit of a negative, is that, and fair play to one of the analysts, because they kind of picked up on this, is that I was kind of like, okay, so if we're increasing the amount of stores that we're having, why has guidance pretty much stayed the same to where we were at previously? Like, if we've had so many new partners come on, why is the guidance not moving? And I feel like this kind of works in both ways. Like, in the short term, that probably is one of the reasons why the stock didn't go anywhere after hours, because guidance wasn't, you sign some new deals, but then you keep guidance the same. If you want to impress the analysts and the investors, you raise your guidance to go, because of this, we're now going to raise the guidance up to so-and-so, which didn't happen. But this also works in the favour of Tattoo Chef, because what Tattoo Chef can do now is, if they do Q1, it sounds like Q1 can be okay. It sounds like Q2, Q3, Q4 could be quite a stronger quarters for Tattoo Chef, was what the feeling I was getting. But what this gives them now is the ability to kind of like, okay, it looks like the sandbagging numbers, or they've just predicted horrible numbers, but I believe they're sandbagging them. So if they're sandbagging numbers, what Tattoo Chef can do now is, in later down the line, have easy numbers to beat. So they go, oh, we beat expectations by so many %, and everyone's like, whoa, look at Tattoo Chef, they're absolutely smashing it. And that will lead the stock to jump up in share price after earnings. Quite a few people do this, or companies, and that's how sometimes you can see them jump so much. So one of the stocks that I own that I always know sandbags numbers is in Mode. They are the masters of sandbagging numbers, but I feel like Tattoo Chef have kind of used that there. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It'd be interesting to see how that one plays out exactly. We also got some more information that they're looking to push into food services now the CV situation's calming down. So that'll be interesting to see how that one plays out later in the year. And we also got an update into the marketing side of it, and saying they're going to start running some adverts as well, and that's going to ramp up as well. So good to kind of get a little bit of an update in that in general. So I guess that kind of role leads me to like my overall thoughts on this. And like I say, like I said to you guys, it was a really weird earnings for me, because I liked what was going on with the Target deal and the expansion of stores, and I think they said that revenue is going to grow at 50% as well. That's with the guidance, so I thought I'd just mention that before I forget it. But it was such a weird earnings for me, because I was like, it was weird that the Target deal came out a little bit early. Like, I thought that was positive news, and the new store deals was really good. But I just feel like, compared to Analyst Day, I just feel like the Analyst Day was fantastic. It was like 10 out of 10. I love the information. I love the breakdown of how they did everything. But I just feel this was kind of like meh, they didn't really they weren't really bothered. Like, I just feel like Tattoo Chef could have shown off a little bit, because there was some good news in there. I feel like when we look at the Target expansion, like, if I was Sam Galetti, I would have really played that up and like gone into detail about how that target deal's going and why it's been so successful, and the amount of stores they're going to be in, and the percentage of stores, the percentage of sales increase in them stores. I just feel like they didn't go into as much detail as what they did on Analyst Day, and that kind of, like I said, that I thought they could have done a lot better presentation. And like I say, I thought the analyst questions were horrible. Like, I thought maybe the analysts are going to save them and then they're going to dig into it. But honestly, the Q&A session was just awful. So yeah, overall, like, the news that was in here as a long-term investor was really impressive. I just feel like the presentation of it wasn't up to a tattooed chef on Analyst Day. And I feel like, I just feel like they could have shown off and give us a lot more detail about what was going on. And yeah, overall, it wasn't terrible. You know, it wasn't a terrible quarter because we had good, as a long-term investor, we saw good long-term investments and partnerships coming into place. That was the main thing we were looking for. I just feel like compared to the Analyst Day, it wasn't the tattooed chef from the Analyst Day, and I feel like it could have been a little bit better delivered. So it was a mixed bag, really. I think, like I say, Tattoo Chef is kind of playing a little bit victim to itself because it put so much information in the Analyst Day. I think that's probably why. I think it was hard to kind of bring so much new information on and go in so much detail this time around, but I just think it was a little bit substandard compared to what Tattoo Chef can do, and I feel like there was some major achievements in there they could have really played on, and that's what my opinion is on that. So overall, some good news in there. I just feel like it could have been presented probably a little bit better overall. But yeah, overall as a long-term investor, I'm still happy. I'm still holding my shares. If it does dip, I will probably buy a few shares because it wasn't an earnings, in my opinion, that deserved to go up. And it wasn't an earnings that deserved to go down. It was probably the most in-line earnings I've seen. So yeah, overall, like I say, it was an in-line earnings to me, and overall, I would give it a 5 out of 10 because it was an okay. You know, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't the most terrible earnings ever. So I think 5 out of 10 was probably the fair kind of review, I guess, on this one. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it anyway. Those are the few things that I picked up from this earnings report from Tattoo Chef. Let me know your opinions on the Tattoo Chef earnings if you were listening to it. Give us a score out of 10 maybe in the comments as well. Smash the like button if you are new, subscribe as well. That would be absolutely amazing. And I'll see you on the next video.